have to do it, Eric. I have no other choice. I'm going to lose everything. If my wife finds out something like that, oh my God, bro, I'm going to lose everything. Bro, I have a spot. I have a spot. I have to find a spot where I'm going to dump her. I'll throw away all the clothes, or I'll burn them, or I'll wash them with Clorox. Those are the words for the defendant in this case on August 21st, 2018. The evidence will show you that Jose Soto-Escalera, the defendant in this case, he had a problem. He had a big problem, and he needed to find a way to get rid of it. He had no other choice in his eyes. And that problem that he had was the victim in this case, Tania Wise. On August 21st, Tania Wise was a mom. She was 38 weeks pregnant, and she had no idea that this defendant was carefully planning out her murder. This defendant had to make sure she was gone. He planned it out, and he was worried that he was going to get found out. He thought he was going to lose everything. And his solution was to kill Tania Wise and Josiah Wise, which was going to be the 38-week-old baby that she had that was getting ready to be born within the next couple of weeks. You're going to hear that the sheriff's office continued to work on this case. They gathered evidence, and they eventually talked to the defendant in this case. He goes into the sheriff's office on August 25th, 2018 for an interview. And when he comes in, he drives in a silverish gray Dodge truck. Now, what you're going to learn about this truck is that same day of the finding of the body or the same day of the murder on August 23rd, there's another individual by the name of William Mullen. William Mullen owned a pizza shop at the time, and he was driving on Russo Road in that area at about 11:30 at night. And he sees something that's odd to him. As he's driving down the road, he sees a silverish truck, meets the description of the defendant's truck. It has some fog lights on, and it's just sitting on the side of the road. He says he sees the truck, he pulls up, it turns its lights off, it turns its lights on, and then it drives off. And he thought that was kind of weird. So the next day, when he sees law enforcement there, he goes and calls 911 and says, hey, I saw this truck out right there where that body was found last night. And just so happens that the day that this defendant comes in to give an interview, he's driving a truck that matches that description, consistent with the truck that's seen right at the murder scene. Another piece of evidence that the sheriff's office said, you know what? It's starting to look like it's Jose Soto-Escalera. So he gives consent to search his car. Law enforcement, they swab his car that particular day, and then they talk to him. And when they talk to the defendant, and you're going to hear his interview, you're going to listen to his words, and you can watch him. He comes in as if, despite what he just did, despite after cutting her throat twice and bashing in her head, he's surprised. He's sad. I can't believe this happened. I feel bad for her family. I hope you find who did this. I don't know anything about it. He minimizes his relationship with Tania Wise. He's like, yeah, I know her. We're not friends. She comes over. Her son plays with my son. They start to ask more questions. She was pregnant. So what you're going to hear about the DNA evidence in this case is that they took a lot of swabs and they tested a lot of stuff. But there's a couple things that are extremely important. And one of those is that they checked multiple people to see who could be the father of that child, and 99.99%, it's the defendant. So not only did he kill Tania Wise, he killed his own son that she was 38 weeks pregnant with because he didn't want his wife to find out that he'd been with someone else. He cut her throat and bashed her head in, knowing that possibly it was his child, but he did it anyways. Because he had planned it out, and he said, I have to do it, Eric. I have no other choice. You're going to hear some additional evidence that even though that evening he's going to tell law enforcement what he did and where he went, and the cell phone evidence that's going to introduce in this case, the cell phone tower evidence, it's going to show that's not correct. That's not where he was. The evidence is going to put him out at the scene of the crime. It's going to put him near that area where this crime occurred out on Rousseau Road. So throughout the trial, listen to the evidence, use your common sense. But when you go back and you listen and you watch and you hear what is said on these recordings and you consider what the facts are, that the fact that this was his child and that he lied about it and that he hid it and that he then planned this murder for multiple days and then he carried it out, at the end of this trial, you're going to find the defendant guilty of both first-degree murder of Tania Wise and first-degree murder of an unborn child, because that's what the evidence is going to show. Thank you.